A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant ruling, a federal appeals court in Washington, D.C. has put a hold on the Transportation Department's new restrictions that would limit the ability of immigrants to obtain commercial driver's licenses, CDLs, for driving semi-trailer trucks and buses. This decision comes in the wake of a tragic incident in Florida where an unauthorized immigrant driver caused a crash that resulted in the deaths of 3 individuals. The court's ruling highlights procedural missteps by the federal government in implementing these rules and raises questions about the actual safety implications of immigrant drivers in the commercial trucking industry. The Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, announced the new regulations in September, aiming to tighten the eligibility criteria for immigrants seeking CDLs. The impetus for these restrictions stemmed from a fatal accident involving a driver who was in the U.S. illegally, prompting concerns over licensing practices in states like California, where many immigrants have been granted licenses despite their work permits expiring. The court's decision pointed out that the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, failed to provide a satisfactory explanation for how the proposed rule would enhance safety on the roads. According to the court, data from the FMCSA indicates that immigrants holding commercial licenses make up approximately 5% of all such licenses, but are responsible for only about 0.2% of fatal crashes. This statistic suggests that the proposed restrictions may not be justified based on safety concerns alone. Duffy has focused particularly on California, where an audit revealed that numerous immigrants were issued licenses that remained valid long after their work permits had expired. In response to these findings, California has revoked 17,000 commercial licenses, citing violations of state law that require driver's licenses and work permits to share the same expiration dates. Despite the revocation of these licenses, California officials maintain that the drivers were authorized to work in the country as per federal guidelines. The new restrictions would have limited eligibility for CDLs to immigrants holding specific visa categories, namely H-2A, H-2B, or E-2 visas. This would significantly reduce the number of non-citizens eligible for these licenses, with only about 10,000 of the estimated 200,000 non-citizens currently holding commercial licenses qualifying under the new rules. The restrictions would not apply retroactively, allowing the majority of drivers to retain their licenses until they seek renewal. Duffy has been vocal about the need for stricter licensing standards, linking recent fatal accidents involving immigrant drivers to the issue of improperly issued licenses. He has threatened to withhold federal funding from California, citing its failure to enforce English language requirements for truck drivers, and indicated that further action could be taken if the state does not address these licensing concerns. The clash between the federal government and California over commercial driver licensing is indicative of broader tensions surrounding immigration policy and state rights. California is one of 19 states, along with Washington, D.C., that issues driving licenses to immigrants without legal status, a practice defended by immigrant rights advocates as essential for ensuring safety and mobility for these individuals. As the legal battle continues, the implications for the trucking industry and immigrant drivers remain uncertain. Advocates argue that the existing data does not support the notion that immigrant drivers pose a greater risk on the roads, and they emphasize the importance of allowing qualified individuals to work in the industry. The Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association, OEDA, has expressed support for maintaining safety standards without unnecessarily restricting the pool of qualified drivers. With the federal court's ruling, the immediate future of immigrant drivers seeking commercial licenses is more secure, at least temporarily. However, the ongoing scrutiny of licensing practices and the push for stricter regulations indicate that this issue is far from resolved. As both state and federal authorities navigate the complexities of immigration and transportation safety, the stakes remain high for thousands of drivers and the broader trucking industry. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.